Hello everyone and welcome back to another Blender 3D exercise. In this exercise we are going to spruce up our Flyswatter a little bit. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to go in edit mode and starting with about right here, we're going to toggle working with faces and we are going to loop select this. And so I'm going to show you a really cool trick you can use to make things like, so for this we're going to make the grip of the Flyswatter, but it works with basically anything where you need kind of, like a rounded type repeating thing, kind of like a sword handle type thing. Anyway, it'll make a lot more sense once we actually do it, or I guess teach by example. So for this, we need a very specific set of operations. So we're going to do an extrude scale, and we're going to scale by 0.8. And then with that still selected, we're going to do another extrude scale, and this time by 1.25. And so you notice that brings it back up to where it was. And again, this doesn't really showcase very well on flat shading, but once we set shading to smooth, and especially once we add our subdivision surface modifier, it'll become really apparent what this is doing, and the effect is really cool. So you're going to repeat that with these next 4 segments, or if you have kind of a short handle, you can do 3 or 4. The goal is just, like I said, to have kind of the amount of segments that would normally be like in the place where you actually hold the Flyswatter. And so ES 0.8 and ES 1.25. And just go ahead and keep moving up. Zero 0.8. And one more should do it. Okay, and you know you did it right if you have kind of these little, you notice there's an arrow instead of just the straight line, so that is kind of showing that we did things correctly. And so now I'm going to want to select the bulk of the handle, and this can get a little tricky because now you have a bunch of geometry kind of stacked up here and some of it's hidden. So I'm going to select this row with do a loop select, and then I'm going to use the control numpad plus trick to expand it out. And you notice it doesn't look like I'm doing anything, and that's just because, like I said, there's kind of some hidden geometry, and so it's taking a minute to grab it all. And so I'm going to go until I grab that last loop section, and so you notice I have about 3 squares from the top of my swatter, and that's about what I want. And so I'm going to go ahead and turn on proportional editing and kind of shift so this is in the center, and then we're going to scale. And you may have to back off. You don't want the bottom of the frame to distort too much. The goal here is really just to kind of give it a very slight dip into your handle. So you want the handle to just be a little bit slimmer than the rest of the Flyswatter. Or you want the center of the handle to be a little bit slimmer than the top of your handle. And you also want that hole to elongate just a little bit. And this is just to give us a little bit more of an interesting shape. And so there we go. So now we're going to get out of edit mode and we are going to shade smooth, which we didn't do before. And you notice there are some rough sections, like especially the grip, like it doesn't really look like, you know, what it should. And you may be thinking, oh, well, maybe the normals are messed up, because we've had problems with that in the past. And so, you know, this is a good habit to get into. Always do your shift in just to make sure. As you can see, nothing changed, so that's not what's going on. So to fix this, we're going to go ahead and add a modifier, and we are going to add a subdivision surface. You notice right off the bat it looks a lot better, and we're going to go ahead and just increase the levels to 2. And when I zoom in now, this is the effect I was talking about. You notice I actually have a really nice grip pattern. And it also did a lot to smooth out the frame of the Flyswatter. So now this actually looks fairly decent. You know, if you had a game where you had a character that wanted to use a Flyswatter, this would certainly do the trick. There's just a little bit more we can do to this. Like, if you were really wanting to use this in a game, you probably don't need this to be an actual mesh. And so we will clean this up a little bit more when we start getting into textures, and we'll replace that mesh with a mesh texture, just to make it a little more efficient on our GPU to render. And then also we will add a nice material to our Flyswatter to actually give it some color. But yeah, for right now, this is certainly getting the job done. That pretty much wraps up this exercise. This is just a really short exercise to showcase the subdivision surface modifier. So go ahead and save out the Flyswatter with you can either use Control S, or you can do the file and save as. And I'm going to go ahead and name mine Flyswatter 2. Okay, and there we go. If you enjoyed the exercise, don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you during the next one.